be like, you the one who had a baby with him. Child, I know. Don't you know that's the dumbest thing I never did? I know. Trust me. I am sleeping with nightmares in the bed that I made. Get it. It's done. I know. Thank you so much for reminding me. Don't post them anyway. Or he's gonna post something along the lines of, oh, you know, we went to court and it's so crazy. I like it to see my kid. Blah, 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 blah. The question is, are y'all stupid? Because the way y'all be acting like y'all don't know what domestic violence is blows me. Blows my mind. Like, did you want the cherry? Did you want to put the cherry in your mouth? Because DDG, yeah, y'all, I was in hell. I keep trying to tell y'all I was living in hell and nobody seems to understand that. So I'm not gonna come get him on like a weekend because they could have heard from somebody that you have plans, you're going out. In their minds, like all they were thinking when y'all were together is that you were cheating. So you have to know, in their little peanut minds, all they're thinking of is, how can I make sure this woman does not go out, enjoy anybody, meet anybody, nothing. So there's ever a time we're all together, I just can't laugh at them. Like, I just have to sit there like this. Imagine being out to eat with Mike Epps. That's my favorite comedian, by the way. Imagine being out to eat with Mike Epps and you just gotta sit like this. I grew up with an amazing dad, so I really didn't know the ins and outs and the depths of weaponized fathers and just how it's not funny. And we can't laugh. It's not funny. I wish it was, but it's not funny. Hey guys, welcome back to the Just Healing podcast. I am your host, Jasmine. If you are a new healer with me, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a crazy little space, but together I feel healing is just essential. It's essential, even if it got get a little crazy sometimes. Even if it got even if it has to get a little crazy sometimes, healing is essential. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing with this intro? If you are a returning healer, welcome, welcome, welcome back. I'm glad to see that you're here. If you are a returning healer, you've been rocking with me for a little bit. I mean, your girl, yeah, honestly, it be so trifling. Your girl be taking breaks. Your girl really be trying to be consistent. And for some reason, I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I don't have any excuses to give, and so I'm not gonna give any. Just know your girl be trying. That's the best I can give y'all. All right, so if you guys are new here, you may not know, but a big part of the Just Healing podcast is I like to take real life pop culture things that are going on and just talk about it, because it's really crazy to me how in some of these situations I really feel if I wasn't going through what I was going through, I would think this stuff is fake. I would think this stuff is clickbait. I would think some of this stuff is just like whatever you can do to get a reaction out of people, and I'm just here to tell y'all it's not. From the reality shows to the influencers to the streamers, it's really ghetto out here when you're dealing with narcissistic men. So if you can tell by the title of my video, title of my episode, I am going to be talking about the weaponized father. Here's the thing. I grew up with an amazing dad, so I really didn't know the ins and outs and the depths of weaponized fathers and just how it's not funny. And we can't laugh. It's not funny. I wish it was, but it's not funny how just the weaponized father will use every trick in the book to just look like a victim. And for me, it's so corny because it's like, what is all this for? You know? So, as you guys know, DDG, also known as, I think his name is Daryl, I don't know. DDG has a child with Halle Bailey, who is first of all, she's our Black mermaid. But even before she was our Black mermaid, we loved Halle. Like, Halle and Chloe were just those little sisters that grew up on YouTube doing their little sample songs, not bothering anybody. Then Beyonce notices them. Beyonce brings them on, and they become Chloe and Halle. And so then, you know, they kind of split, did their own thing, but you could tell, like, I love the split that they did because, you know, like, I feel like most of the time with groups, even if they're siblings, when they split, they kind of just become different people. And it's good to be different people, like, because you're your own individual person, but they usually sometimes fall out. You know, it's just usually a lot of distance there. And I love that Chloe and Halle stayed just tight, thick as thieves, sissies, like, but doing their own thing. So once they did that, I think shortly after, Halle got the role for Little Mermaid. Because for a while it seemed like Chloe was more focused on music and Halle was more focused on Little Mermaid acting and stuff. They were both in Grownish, loved them in Grownish. All these things I'm saying, I just wanted to be clear that from the jump, DDG was jealous of Halle. I don't care how much money you have from streaming. I don't care how much money you have from YouTube. It's the actual fame that you want. And there's a different level of fame that comes from streamers who, you know, everybody doesn't know who a streamer is. Let's just be real. I personally wouldn't know who DDG was if it wasn't for, who did I used to watch? Kennedy Simone, which is one of his ex-girlfriends. And so, where was I getting at? Oh, so yes, I just feel that DDG likes to use how much money he has as a way of saying, how can I be jealous of her? Sir, you are. You're very much so jealous of her, and that is why this relationship was never gonna work. But that's not even what we're here for. We're here for the abusive dad that then likes to play the victim and play the woe is me. She won't let me see my kids. The woe is me. She's having a protective order. Once again, things I'm just way too familiar with, and I really wish I wasn't. Like, I wish I was not familiar with these things. So anywho, DDG and Halle have been separated. Well, they weren't married, but not together, for probably going on like a year now. I don't know. Here's where the red flag started flagging for me. I feel like even when Halle made it very clear that she did not want Halo to be shown to the internet, I feel like DDG was the one pushing that to the point where he pushed it so much that she just finally was like, you know what, whatever, show the baby, because I'd rather be like, okay, than you do it one day and I just see it and I'm pissed. So cool, he out there. DDG also took this baby on Kai Cenai's streaming service. First of all, even when people were saying Halle was doing too much, I'm like, no, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. I would be loud too, because it's not the fact of you can't, have father time, whatever. It's more so of the fact of all these random strangers are at this boy's house. We've all seen the accidental fires that let out at Kai Cenai's house, because at the end of the day, he's a streamer, and at the end of the day, you never know how much is going on in that house for some views. That's just the reality of it, because that's his job. Like, I get it, that's his job, but don't take my baby over there. What does a baby need to be doing over there? I don't know. I don't know. That's a question y'all gotta ask Daddy. And then there was just a couple like riffs where you could tell he was saying, she won't let me see Halo and blah blah blah. Now that it has all come out with this protective order, it's very clear to see that they did not have orders in place. Number one, that is the number one thing, that if anybody is going through a separation, I don't care if y'all were married or not, if you have a child with someone, orders need to be put in place, because without orders, I just feel there's nothing to work with. So without orders, you are gonna have dads who are like, I want to see him when I want to see him, and I don't have to make a schedule with you because we don't have no orders. An order at least is a schedule. And I know a lot of people say, well, what if they don't follow the schedule? What if they don't get them on them days? Okay, then that's them, and that's just something, at the end of the day, he's probably a crappy dad anyway. That's why the abuse took place. That's why you're not together anymore. He's probably a crappy dad anyway. So if he doesn't come see him, that's fine, but at least you won't have someone weaponizing fatherhood, making themselves look like the victim, saying you're never letting him see him, because quite literally what's really happening is he's wanting to decide the times that he sees him. And those times are usually convenient times, like going on a streaming platform and taking your 1-year-old. Silliness, literal silliness. So I would always just encourage orders, because if nothing else, you have something to go by, and you don't have to feel like you're just being continuously abused, punished, and controlled, because that's also what it really comes down to. I feel like a lot of the times these dads, especially if there's no orders in place, they're like, oh well, I'm not gonna come get them on like a weekend, because they could have heard from somebody that you have plans, you're going out. In their minds, like all they were thinking when y'all were together is that you were cheating. So you have to know, in their little peanut minds, all they're thinking of is, how can I make sure this woman does not go out, enjoy anybody, meet anybody, nothing. So like I said, even if orders are in place, they still can do that and be like, I'm not gonna come. But that's when you're able to then modify and say, okay, judge, what do we have these orders in place for if they aren't using them anyway? So yeah, always get orders in place, because I really think that just would have saved Halle so much just time and strength. And unfortunately, he does have this platform of pretty much kids. Like I don't know any adults really that just be watching DDG. And I don't know if I can say that, because I be watching Kai Cenai. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't watch Kai Cenai, like I'm not a paid streamer, but viewer, or I don't know what they call them. But when he did like his 30 nights and like Kevin Hart was there and Drewski was there, I was tuned in, okay? Tuned in. But I feel like when you have this younger audience, of course they're gonna come harassing this girl, bullying this girl, and that's not fair. And so again, if you have orders, you can just ignore all of that, ignore all the noise, let him post orders. He's gonna post them anyway, or he's gonna post something along the lines of, oh, you know, we went to court and it's so crazy, I only get to see my kid, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, it's all about control. And that's just what you have to remember. And you're gonna have people be like, you the one who had a baby with him. Child, I know. Don't you know that's the dumbest thing I ever did? I know. Trust me. I am sleeping with nightmares in the bed that I made. Get it. It's done. I know. Thank you so much for reminding me. Speaking of control, I'm gonna try to find a clip of this very eerie video that DDG must have taken like Halle's voice and put it in AI and was asking her just all these questions about, I guess when they went to Usher, I don't know if she could have been yawning and this man would have thought she wanted a cherry. And so
that cherry, did you have your mouth open because you wanted to eat the cherries because you was laughing?
Oh my God, this again. Yes, I kept my mouth open because I was laughing. I said with a chuckle.
Okay, well, these people on my chat and my live stream keep telling me that you had your mouth open and you was waiting on Usher to give you the cherry in your mouth. Can you please just clarify that you didn't have your mouth open for Usher's cherry?
No, I never was. I would never in my life have my mouth open waiting for Usher or anyone to feed me. I hope that clears it up.
It cleared it up, but it looked kind of crazy because you were smiling with your teeth. And then like when I gave you the cherry, you still had your teeth showing. And you know, usually when somebody trying to eat something, they don't show their teeth, and you had your teeth showing twice. So I just want to make sure, like, when you open your mouth, do you show your teeth or do you not show your teeth?
So it might not have been totally clear because I was laughing and stuff, but you're right. When I open my mouth to eat something, I try not to show my teeth because it gets messy, right? And when I'm smiling, sometimes my mouth is open, but that's cause I'm laughing or smiling at something, not cause I'm waiting for someone to feed me.
So like when I gave you the cherry, why was your teeth showing?
I was laughing, probably holding my mouth open because my laugh takes up a lot of my face. But I promise you, I was not hoping or expecting a grown-ass man to feed me a cherry Lowell.
Okay.
She's like literally over explaining herself, like, no, I didn't want the cherry, like, you know, I was there with you, I didn't want the cherry, and going on and on. And he's like, and I think in another clip he was like, you know, bring me my son. Bring me.
What do you mean? He's sleeping, he's in bed, RN?
Give me my fucking son back.
What? Why are you acting like this? What have I ever done for you to act like I'm some sort of monster that would keep your son from you?
Because you don't know how to respect me and you disrespect me in public over a fucking Usher concert. Where is my son at? I'm taking my son.
Bring me my son, because you out here with other, you know, men, whatever, just literally spazzing out. And once again, it's so freaking familiar to me. I remember was it Christmas? Yes, excuse me, I do not know why I just burped. It was Christmas and we had went back to Cleveland. This might have been my daughter's first Christmas, honestly. We went back to we went back to Cleveland, and we had went to my little cousin, her dad, so she's my little cousin on her mom's side, but her dad had owned this restaurant and they just always had the bombest. That fettuccine alfredo was so freaking good. and chicken fettuccine alfredo at that. It was so good. And anyway, we went, and my sister and her friend and no, two of my sister's friends came. One of them came with like a date, and the guy was like, we were all at the table. The guy was like making jokes. Mind you, this is like my first Christmas with my ex, because, you know, we didn't know each other when we had this kid. So a lot of the things we were experiencing at the first time as a couple, as well as parents. So I feel I've always had a personality where, you know, if somebody says something funny, I'm gonna laugh, because I think if I'm wrong, let me know, but I think that's usually how it goes. And the guy had said like maybe two funny things. Like, he was no comedian. Like, it honestly had me really nervous, because I'm like, first of all, I went to a performing arts school. I know some actual comedians, and it really sucks that if there's ever a time we're all together, I just can't laugh at them. Like, I just have to sit there like this. Imagine being out to eat with Mike Epps. That's my favorite comedian, by the way. Imagine being out to eat with Mike Epps and you just gotta sit like this. At some point, your mouth's gonna be like, because you want to laugh so bad. It wasn't on that level, but I'm just saying, God forbid we ever went out with Mike Epps. I wouldn't have been able to laugh, because if I would have laughed, if I would have laughed at Mike Epps, then boom, me and Mike Epps just left together. Yeah, y'all, I was in hell. I keep trying to tell y'all I was living in hell, and nobody seems to understand that. So we left the restaurant, and I just remember like him getting in the car and just having such a bad attitude. If I would have known what I know now, this was also like Christmas Eve, and a narcissist will in fact ruin every single holiday, no matter what. Like, that was like his perfect way of being like, all right, this is my end, time to ruin Christmas. Literally, I was with the Grinch when it came to Christmas, and any other villain around any other holiday. So we got in the car. He started this long argument about, did you mess with him before? Like, I feel like y'all had something going on. Y'all had a connection. And I'm like, I never met this man a day in my life. I laughed at a joke that you were also laughing at too. Did you mess with him before? That's what I wanted to say. Did you mess with him before? Like, it just was wild to me how the smallest things turned into the biggest things. But that's kind of how I felt when DDG was interrogating her about that cherry. Like, did you want the cherry? Did you want to put the cherry in your mouth? Because DDG, I'm sorry, but that's not how it goes at the concerts. He does it to women, not men. So anywho, Halle now has a protection order. And I want to say he's not allowed within 100 yards of her or Halo. And of course, they're gonna have to go back to court for it. So what I'm thinking is that right now it is a temporary protection order. I've had one of those, and so I know that you have a temporary one. So for example, mine was from October to December. And at the December hearing, where it was supposed to be either permanent or not, which it ended up not being permanent, he will tell you, because none of it was true, what it really was that we were no longer living in that state. And honestly, I just don't feel that judge felt comfortable taking over the jurisdiction of a protection order when we didn't live there, as well as he lied. on the stand. So, because that's what they do. That's what they do. And so yeah, I really pray for Halle, that, you know, whatever needs to get worked out gets worked out. But in her protection order, I know she did say he like slammed her head into the car. I know she said he was calling her derogatory names such as the B word in front of Halo. And I just don't think that the family court system really takes how serious that is. I couldn't imagine if growing up I heard my dad calling my mom derogatory names. Like, at my big age, I cannot imagine. And the fact that it's so kind of just looked at as like, oh, well, you know, he didn't call the kids that, he just called you that. And it's like, is it not alarming to anyone that this is being done, you know, around the kids? So, of course, now DDG is, you know, online crying, saying he just wants to be a dad. He just wants to be a good dad. He just wants to do this. And, you know, he just wants to take care of his kid. You don't take care of your kid. And with that, you know, of course it's, well, she has money. Like, she doesn't ask me for money. Why does she have to ask? Like, you know what you know what your child needs. Why does she have to ask? And, you know, just the whole, like, even when he did start back seeing Halo, before the protection order, I just remember it was just always like streaming related. And I just think there's just this huge level of like weaponized fatherhood that comes with abusive men, that when they, if you notice, when they have their kids, there's pictures, there's, oh my gosh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to have fun, look at how much of a good dad I am. Oh my gosh, does everybody see how great of a dad I am? I'm just the most amazing dad ever. And you're not. You're not, because anybody can do that on a weekend. Anybody can do that when it's not their regular everyday. Like, even let's say you got some extended time. This isn't your regular. So of course you can do it. You can look like amazing dad. But that's not your regular. And I just feel like I can't wait for the day that abusers are sat down in that way. Because I just think it's crazy that you can be abusive and then come out looking just like an angel dad when you're not. You're not. And while you sitting over here talking and calling Halle, you know, a B word, it's actually the abusive dads that are B words. Clock that. But yeah, I really hope that she's okay. I personally could not imagine going through what I'm going through and having people come attacking me and telling me, you know, I'm keeping them away. I do feel like my ex tries to build that community, but unfortunately he doesn't have that community. And there's really just no one who he knows that could make me feel any type of way. Literally no one. But I just hope she's okay. I hope she's taking care of herself. I know she has a really strong family background, much like me. So I hope that they are loving on her too. But I just think it's crazy. And, you know, even sometimes I feel going through the comments, I'm just like, are people really this stupid? I really wanted to save that line until I talk about Diddy and Cassie. I think I'm gonna save my Diddy and Cassie until next week. I wanted to just get one more week of just, I've been listening to Armand Wiggins' cover because he's been in the courtroom during the trial. So I just want to get in a few more days. And then the question is coming though, are y'all stupid? Because the way y'all be acting like y'all don't know what domestic violence is blows me. Blows my mind. It's quite pathetic and sad. Just saying. But But I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, or you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my Instagram at Just Healing Podcast and let me know what you thought about the episode. Let me know your thoughts on DDG and Halle, if you have any, or Weaponized, Fatherhood. Maybe you experienced that in your personal life. Let's just chatty on up. And I will see you guys in my next video.